I spent more than a week traveling first to Chemical and Biological Defense Conference in Florida, and then I attended American Society for Hematology in San Diego, in California.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. I'm joined by Hemogenics Pharmaceutical CEO, Dr. Vladislav Sandler, as well as Non-Executive Director, Peter Redmond. Vladik, Peter, very good to speak with you. I'm going to start with you, Peter. We've spoken before about the consolidation of Hemogenics shares on a 400 to 1 ratio. Why is this needed?
Yes, indeed. We did have we talked about this in the last interview, but now we've done it. I think just go over it again. The main reasons were to get away from the penny share status, but the purpose of such a large consolidation was really to get us to a share price where serious institutions and specialist investors would be interested in coming into our stock, whether in the US or the UK. But we certainly are talking in the US, well, quite frankly, anything less than $2 or £2 really is going to be difficult for some of the potential investors, and we just wanted to make it. Well, I think they actually don't want it to be a dead £2, so we just made it somewhat larger so that it will appeal to those types of investors, and I don't think it in any way reduces the potential for existing investors either. So that's the reason. I think that more or less covers it. I mean, when we thought we wanted to be, now we're a clinical stage company, I think it's time and to work with the bigger investors, and hopefully we will be.
Well, let's talk about some of those clinical programs, Vladik, as well as your recent participation in the Chemical Biological Defense, as well as an American Society of Hematology conference. Tell us more about your participation in those conferences.
First of all, Stephen, thank you for inviting again. Right, that's correct. I spent more than a week traveling first to Chemical and Biological Defense Conference in Florida, and then I attended American Society for Hematology in San Diego, in California. So first, CBD conference, Chemical and Biological Defense. It was very interesting. I presented at that conference, and it became crystal clear that the need, that people realize that there is a growing need for the development of new methods in biodefense. So we presented at this conference our data on our CBR program, chimeric beta receptor program. Then I attended American Society for Hematology conference in San Diego, and that was also very interesting and actually very productive. So first of all, I had a good conversation with large pharma. It is clear that there is a growing interest in our CAR-T program. It's too early to say what will come out of these discussions, but there was a clear interest and attention to our CAR-T program. Second, I would like to say that CAR-T as a method of treatment of different cancers is becoming mainstream. And there are several companies that have approved CAR-T therapies, and there are many presentations, reporting results of clinical trials of different CAR-Ts, and we are eager to be the next presenter of our CAR-T clinical trial results. I would also like to say that people realize that one of the biggest bottlenecks for wider adoption of CAR-T is manufacturing. So as it stands right now, all approved CAR T treatments are autologous CAR T treatments. And this means that the cells are taken from the patient, they're processed, they're expanded, and then they are returned to the patient. Typically, this process takes 2-3 weeks. This is too long and too expensive. And that's why there are several companies and there are several research groups that are trying to make this process much faster. And it looks like we may have a chance to participate in this development and ultimately make sure that our CAR T, our own CAR T, is manufactured in a much faster than we can do it today, and ultimately we're targeting one-day manufacturing. It's too early to report anything at this point, but we may have a chance to partner with one of the entities who are doing such manufacturing. I mean, if that happens, then we basically will get to the next level of CAR T delivery and then potentially be able to deliver this treatment for a much broader audience, I would say audience, people who need such treatment. I would like to say that I'm very excited by what I saw and at these conferences, and I'm very excited by the discussions that we had with Big Pharma and also with the entity that may allow us to participate in the development of this one-day manufacturing.
Staying with CAR T, clinical trials for your CAR T program for the treatments of acute myeloid leukemia in adults due to start soon. Tell us more about what's planned.
Right. So we went through the IRB process, and we successfully completed site initiation visit at our first clinical site. And we are just waiting for several financial disclosure forms to be signed by the participants of the clinical trial on the site, on the clinical site. This is a pure formality. Unfortunately, it takes time because there are more than 25 people participating in the clinical trial in the clinical site that we're opening. And some of these people are traveling, some of these people are on vacations, and some of these people are just too busy to pay attention to sign these disclosure forms. But ultimately, this is just a formality. So we expect to start recruiting patients anytime. The moment these forms are returned to us, we will start recruiting patients. I would also like to say that because there is a growing interest in our CAR T program, we have an opportunity to potentially open an additional clinical site at one of the most prestigious institutions in the east of the US. I cannot say more than that. And also, I would like to say that we are preparing to expand our CAR T program from adults to pediatric patients. I also had a very good discussion with a group of physicians that exist from the same clinical site that we're opening right now when I was in San Diego, and they are eager to push it forward, and we will do all we can to extend our clinical trial into pediatrics as soon as we possibly can, because there are kids, there are babies that are pretty much that have nothing for them. Physicians cannot help these babies. They're about to die, and they are eager, and the physicians are eager to do something for these babies. And our CAR T program may be that thing that would help these these children to survive.
Vladik, could you also give us an update on the CBR program?
Right. About a week ago, we announced a breakthrough in our CBR program. One of the bottlenecks in the development of this program was the our ability to transduce white blood cells or macrophage, for example, or monocytes with constructs, with CBR constructs. So we worked hard trying to figure out how to do it. We couldn't do it fast enough simply because it's a difficult problem, but also because we didn't have enough resources. We are preparing to start clinical trials, but nevertheless, we have a fantastic team that makes miracles basically, and they managed to develop a new method of transduction or putting new genes into white blood cells, and now we are flying. Provided we have additional funds available for us, this program will go forward, I think, very fast.
And can I just add, I think that some people in the UK have chatted and said, this development means nothing. Well, that's absolutely wrong. It's a very major breakthrough, and I have this from other people than those working in the company. It's a major breakthrough in CBR, and it also shows that while we are focusing very nearly all our resources on getting the CAR-T trials started, there's the other ones are still moving forward. Obviously, with more funding, we'd be able to move more than one of them forward together. But we are pretty absolutely focused on getting the CAR-T into patients. But meanwhile, CBR is making some really significant steps as well.
James, thank you very much for the updates. I hope you'll keep us posted on any further developments, but thanks for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's Hemagenics Pharmaceuticals CEO, Dr. Vladislav Sandler, as well as Non-Executive Director, Peter Redmond.